So, ladies, all of us, your fans, the ones who watch you, the ones who are getting to know you, and just finding out who you are and just seeing you for the first time, we want to know the human behind the hustle. So, my first question may not be very deep, but it can be quite challenging. If you could describe yourself without your role in the business, how would you describe who you are? Welcome to Life's a Trip and I Forgot the Map, the podcast that embraces the messy, magical ride of figuring life out. I'm Misty, your host, your fellow wanderer, and here we trade perfection for permission to grow, stumble, laugh, and start over. So grab your emotional snacks, be sure to buckle up, we're in for a ride. Let's hit the road. Welcome back to Life's a Trip and I Forgot the Map. Today's episode is something very special. I'm joined by not one, but two incredibly extraordinary women who embody what it means to lead with soul, strength, and self-trust. You might recognize Josie, a returning guest with a powerful story of transformation. And joining her is Tjibaria, the visionary founder of the Freedom Lifestyle Creators, aka FLC, whose journey began in astrophysics and evolved into something deeply human, guiding others towards their purpose with heart, clarity, and impact. But today we're not reading resumes. We're getting real. This conversation is about what it means to rewrite your own story, to redefine strength, to remember who you are and who you're still becoming. Simply looking for a sign that you're not alone? This one's for you. Ladies, thank you so much for being here. I am so excited. I've been waiting for this for a while. I've missed you both so much. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
You go first, Josie.
Oh no.
Tjibaria's like, I'm scared. You go first.
Josie's brave.
It'll have to be now.
It's easy for us to sit here and think of, oh, I can tell you who I am. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a speaker. I'm an author. I can name off all these things. But then we're like, okay, that's the business end of it. But so who am I as a person? Where do I fit into that? How do I explain to somebody else? That's part of what I do, but that's not who I am. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it can be kind of difficult to answer that.
Yeah, that's a really good question, because as well, whenever people ask you that question, it's always tell me what you do. Kind of, we grow up that way, right? So, great question. I would say that actually when you asked that question, I went straight back to like little Josie that had those big dreams. I would say, and I feel like I can say this with more confidence than before, is I am a hard worker, a go-getter that has a big vision and really wants to attain it and do it, and also along the way help other people attain their visions while I'm doing that. And recently it's really hit me just how powerful that is and how attainable it is. Attainable is the word of the day for me, apparently. But yeah, I would say that I have big dreams, big goals, big aspirations, and I'm excited to get after it. So yeah, that's initially what comes to mind for me.
Attainable is a really good word, and everything is attainable. Definitely. What about you, Tjibaria?
I'd say freedom fighter. Fighting for freedom in all different ways possible. I think also with that comes a bit of a free spirit. Like, I don't like rules that hold people down. And so that could be our own rules or what we put in our heads. Then we think, like, I'm not able to do something. Like, yes, you are able to do that. I'm not going to accept no for an answer. So, like, fighting for freedom in all ways of life, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially. And I think that's also what got us then on this mission for the lifestyle creators. So fighting for freedom, making sure that people are not stuck one way or another.
That's awesome. because we all deserve to be free. And I totally resonate with that, with both of you ladies, because it is something that, like for me, I think I'm still trying to define who I am. Like when I was, story time, when I was 12, like 11 or 12, when I was like 11 or 12, my mom had friends that would come over to the house and they would ask me a question. Okay, so one time I had this lady look at me because when I was a little older, but this is just an example. She looked at me and told me that I needed to join TOPS. Well, TOPS is a organization here in the US that's kind of like Weight Watchers. And I'm like, no. She goes, well, why not? And I said, because I don't want a diet. I don't want a diet. I want a lifestyle change. I don't want to force myself to do something that I know I'm going to fail at. I want it to come naturally. So when I had people when I was about 11 or 12 ask me questions like that or say something, maybe it didn't have to do with my weight because I wasn't very big back then, but they would say something to that effect or something that was that profound. And I'd be like, I would answer them and they would be in shock. And my mom would look at them and say, no, she knows exactly who she is and what she's capable of. She knows that. And I think over time, I've lost that because we get stuck into a box. And like we say, we get conditioned. So you get stuck into a box and you're like, this is who you are now. You have to kind of fit this. So now that don't have somebody stuffing me in a box, and I've learned over these past few years that I'm my own person and I don't have to people please anymore, that I'm redefining who I am and learning who that is again. And I think, so for me to define who I am is, I think it is a little bit of the dreamer and the possibilities of attaining my dreams. I think it is the freedom fighter because I'm not only wanting to fight for other people's freedom, but my own. And doing that authentically and who I am. And it's also me redefining how I do that and how I handle the emotions, because you ladies know I'm a very emotional person. Whether I want to or not, I'm an emotional person. And learning to use that to my advantage. But I'm learning to use that to my advantage instead of letting it hinder me. I'm learning to use it to help me grow and change. Yeah. So I think that question is kind of difficult at times for somebody to answer.
And like you say, right, you're constantly redefining it. So you have the absolute possibility to fill that out and exactly like be the hero that you want to be, and it doesn't have to be the same if maybe there's been so many years where you felt like you had to take on a particular characteristic because that was the characteristic of the particular box that we were shoved into one way or another. Then you can say, well, actually, yes, I embraced that because it was a part of my journey, but now I actually feel like I am this and this and this, and let's go on that adventure. And I think that's also something which I guess just say, I think you know this best, but sometimes forget about it. It's like you are so multi-talented, and there's so many things that you can do, and sometimes we forget it about ourselves. So anybody watching, if you're not subscribed, yes, subscribe, because Misty is gonna mystify your life in all beautiful ways.
Yes, we got a lot planned.
I agree. I agree.
Thank you for that. So I'm going to define myself as a multi-billionaire because God's going to use my pockets to help others and help them become more free. I guess that's the best way I would put it.
I love that. Can I quickly say as well, you made a really good point there about getting stuck in this box, and I definitely resonated with you just then, and I feel like anyone watching as well would. That is a really good point. I think what's really important for people to do or realize is that you can break that box at any point. You can control you. And like when I first, for example, when I first joined FLC and started in this, I was 19 or I just turned 20, but I'd known Tjibaria when I was 19. I knew her when I was 18 and 17. She didn't know me yet. But with that, and I felt at those young ages too, I felt like I had so much to give and so much knowledge to share, but it was always when I did, I felt like the energy back was, well, who are you? You're a child. Like you don't know you don't know this. How could you know anything about life? And that I feel I've realized in the last couple of years carried with me when I was speaking to clients or speaking to other people. I would be saying things. I've said this to you before, Misty, I think on the other podcast. I would be saying things, but not really believing that should be the one saying these things and they should take me seriously. But what I've realized, and Tjibaria has been a massive part of this in realizing this, is I do have the stuff to give and I do know my stuff. And it's up to you to kind of break that box and realize, no, I know who I am and this is me and I'm going to show up like that. So yeah, just to your point, I resonated with that.
Yeah. Well, even, we're talking about being put into a box. I don't know about you ladies, but when I was growing up, not only my mother, but her friends and people around us would always tell me kids are meant to be seen and not heard. So that's them trying to control the narrative and condition you into being what they want you to be instead of being you. So now it doesn't matter what age you start your journey at of self-discovery and being on and just learning that I have a voice and I can use it to my advantage and I can use it to not only empower myself but others.
Yeah.
It's okay to be who you are. As long as you're not hurting anybody else, be who you are, embrace it, love it, run with it, right?
Yep, exactly.
So can you ladies share a moment in your life that you had a complete redefine of your identity?
Sorry, I'm still thinking back of the powerful words that you just spoke. You have me in awe. I was just like, that was really cool. I don't know if you guys ever have those moments too, and you're just like, yeah.
Yeah.
Tjibaria's moment, just then, that was Tjibaria's moment. Oh.
That was so cool. Like I was just like literally thinking like, yeah. And then I forgot where I was for a second, and it was just like really profound. So thank you for that, Misty.
You're welcome.
I think to the core of who I feel that I am, I've not necessarily had to really change that much because I always feel like I am myself, and with that also often don't really fit in a lot of ways, which I'm totally for because I'm kind of like an Einzelganger anyways, like lone wolf. But even though it sounds weird, right? Because we have such a big, beautiful community. But in a lot of social settings, I'm just really solo in a lot of ways. Yeah. I think we all kind of are socially awkward in that way.
I think we attract all those people.
Yes, exactly. So I do feel strong in that, and obviously always growing and developing. And there's definitely every single year new lessons and new growth moments that I thought I knew this already, or I had something understood, but then 1 year later it's like, no, you had not understood any of that stuff. You were like relearning it. But I think from a profession point of view, the biggest change was when I dropped my PhD and went into business, and that was like
that's what I was going to ask you about. I was going to say that's probably one of your biggest right there.
Yeah, because then it was like going from scientist who has been studying for doing that for so many years, and then just letting all of that go, almost feeling like, you've just wasted all of that. But that's not the case because it brought obviously a lot of learning and a lot of experiences. And I'm very, very grateful for everybody that's been a part of that journey and my professors in the end as well. But I did feel like that was not making me happy and that I didn't want to do that for all of eternity, so to speak. And the path that it was leading towards was not what I would want to do. And I was sometimes dreading in the morning going to work and feeling, man, is this going to be it? And then also on top of that I really didn't fit in kind of socially in the group that I was with, I guess. Mm-hmm. A lot of scientists are very much like very sophisticated. And again, the mindset of a scientist, like I need to see it first before I believe it. I need to prove that it's real. Sometimes even to a degree. And this is like obviously going to be generalizing, not really the case for all of the people. Especially one of my professors who I appreciate so much. He was not like this at all. But there were sometimes people that are more like, because you're so educated, it's like kind of looking down on the rest of the world, which is like, oh man, I can't stand that. So I think shifting into business where all of a sudden you're doing your own thing and you're still amongst people and helping a lot of people, like we speak to people all day long, but it's different because you're doing it on your own terms and you kind of attract and move away from people, like you attract the people that are like-minded and deflect from people that are not in that same mindset. And I think that was a very welcome surprise, or not a welcome surprise, like welcoming thing. I think even to this day, like today, I had a conversation, today or yesterday, I can't remember, had a call with someone who's been, yeah, it was yesterday, who had been working so hard in a particular position for, I don't know, 20 years or something, and then kind of not being appreciated for it, and then realizing now that, you know, that's not the thing for him anymore, and he doesn't want to keep doing that because it was just keep getting passed by. And I think the beautiful thing about helping people with business is so that there is an opportunity for everyone to do things on their own terms. So I don't know, I think I strayed from the path of the question that you actually asked me.
It's okay, because it's obviously something we needed to hear. But I like to think of your journey in for physicist. You were doing research, because once we make the whole Earth, planet FLC, you're going to want to go off planet to make more people. No, the freedom doesn't just stop here. We got to take it elsewhere too. So you were doing research on where you got to go next.
So if I've done that research, are you asking me that?
No, I'm saying that's what you were doing. That's what you were doing.
I was doing. Exactly.
That's the way I like to think about it. You were just doing research before to find new planets to go to.
Yeah. Or like Shushmita says, like, we did the research because we came as guests to this planet.
Yeah.
Funny. Great answer, by the way. I was in awe just watching you as well. Can you actually repeat the wording of the question you said? Because I want to get this.
Yeah. Can you share a moment in your life when you had to completely redefine your identity?
Great.
I can name one for you right now.
Oh, la la. I'm curious on what you would say. Do you want to go now, or shall I answer first?
I think for you, you redefined yourself the moment you decided to quit uni and go full in on FLC. I think that was the moment.
Yeah.
Now, if you've had something more profound than that, I don't know. But that one, I think, is the one I know of.
Yeah. No, I had a couple points, but that was one of them. That was definitely a big one. And I just remember being so terrified, but also having like all of you guys and having so much evidence that it was the right thing to do. That was definitely a huge one. When I quit uni 2 years in, I had 1 more year. I was going to do 2 more years though. Still to this day, by the way, that was now 2 years ago. Still to this day, I get people that were like, but you only had 2 more years. Why didn't you carry on? Because, so, that's another one too. I don't feel the need anymore to explain myself to people. It used to be this explaining myself to people, and now people can think what they want to think. I have that detachment from that now. And actually, another big one that kind of relates to that was a point I wanted to bring up, is detaching from the opinions of others. This wasn't a moment, but it definitely hit me in a moment, even though it was gradual. One time when that whole to do with the uni thing, it wasn't taken the best by some people, and the whole really going into this FLC entrepreneurship thing also wasn't taken the best by some other people, friends, family, and just being okay with other people's opinions on that, and realizing that everyone ever is going to have an opinion, and you can't control that. What you can control is how you react to that. And I think just growing into someone that doesn't let it affect them anymore, I think that was quite pivotal. And Tjibaria made a great point about relearning lessons that you thought You thought that you figured it all out. You would have thought like, oh yes, I know this now, and then relearning that lesson and going back to that moment and being like, I didn't know anything. That's a great point too. But yeah, I think you're spot on. It's the dropping out of uni and everything that came with since and still get comments. That's definitely shaped big time who I am.
I don't know that you guys, you ladies keep talking about that, where you keep going back and thinking, I really didn't know anything at that moment. I thought I did, but I really didn't. I think we should redefine that. You knew everything in that moment that was specifically for that moment.
Yeah.
But because now the circumstances have changed and you've grown and you've learned more, now you're like, I didn't know anything then because I know something different now.
Yeah.
You didn't know it. It's that you learned, you grew.
More.
Yeah, there's more, and now the circumstances are changed.
Yeah. I guess some part for me, and this is gonna feel a little bit awkward for me saying this, but I guess sometimes, especially when you're, I guess, Josie's age. For me, when I was Josie's age, I thought that I was like, oh, I'm an adult, and I know stuff. I know how the world works. And then looking back, I guess that's
Don't
why
worry, Josie, I
came
had
from.
that moment when I was younger than you, so you're good.
Don't worry, I have seven Pierre that constantly remind me that I'm not an adult.
But that's so cool. Like, you are, and this is a thing, very big thing. You are so wise, so young already. That's just absolutely amazing. But I'm more talking about myself, right? That there were moments in my life, and that's why I called it like don't know anything back then. But then I was so like I am 22 right now. I'm 23 or I'm 24, and I know everything. But then it turned out that I also drastically had things wrong, and it wasn't like that. It wasn't that straightforward. And then later on, looking back on that, I was like, oh my goodness, what was I thinking? Amateur. So that's more where it came from. But you're absolutely right. Like, you know everything to the best of your ability at that moment, with that age, with that circumstances, and then later on, you just get wiser. For most people, not all people.
Hindsight is 2020, isn't it?
Right? Yeah. Well, they say if you're not learning and growing, you're dying. So hopefully people are learning and changing. They're not just staying stagnant.
Exactly.
So, what parts of your story feel the most sacred to you, but are often unseen or misunderstood?
Ooh, missed you with the questions today.
Yeah, this is
Wow.
like really, really deep therapeutic almost.
Mm.
So
I can think
define
of some-
sacred.
I'm here for it.
Yes, let's go. So what do you mean by sacred specifically?
Something that's really important to you, something that means a lot to you that other people may not understand or they don't even see. For me, it's the fact that, okay, I talk a lot about my past and things that happened in the past. And it's not that I'm trying to say, oh, poor me, oh, woe is me, or anything like that. That's not it at all. It's this happened, and I hold that important because it's defined who I am now. And it's allowed me to realize what I do want and what I don't want in my life, and who I am and who I am not. So it to me, when people see me and I say stuff like that, they misunderstand that I'm trying to just gain sympathy. And that's not it at all. I just want people to understand who I am, see me for who I am now, and understand why I am the way I am. It's not that I want that sympathy or, I'm saying, oh, poor me, don't you feel sorry for me? Or, it's not that at all. And I don't even mean to annoy people because I know I do. But it's like, because they're like, shut up, I don't want to listen to that. And it's like, I'm not saying it to be annoying. I'm saying it because this is who I am, and this is what has defined or shaped me into who I am. So if I'm doing something, there's usually a reason for it. And if you want to understand me and why I'm doing things, you kind of have to take the bad with the good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's because without the bad, you can't have good.
Yeah,
Because
because
how can you define one without the other?
Yeah, and it's also like when you really understand the person better or more deeply, then you can also have more compassion for why certain things are comfortable or not comfortable, or easy or not easy. And I think that is super important. And I personally like this quote as well in our, what's it again? In our, sorry, quotes. in our desperate attempt to be understood, let's not forget to be understanding. I really like that. That kind of talks about that. If I would say sacred, it's always anything to do with family and connections. And I think for me, it's the way how family bonds. And when I say family, I don't only mean blood family, also like family in my relationships with you guys and things in that respect. How bonds have grown deeper and how communication has become much better because of understanding that comes with age and wisdom, hopefully. These are things that I hold very sacred. So yeah, bonds with my parents, my brother, my sister, family members, FLC core family. Misty, you obviously we've spoken about so many things that are so close to my heart. And I don't know if you have or have not shared them on the podcast in different capacities. I think we have spoken about that. But like these things are so deeply cherished because I think that's what life is about. Like how you lift each other up. So I think that's what if I'm talking about like what are things that are most sacred to me, it's like those things, those connections, those conversations, pivotal moments that we've all shared in each other's lives. That's most important to me. But it's not necessarily that some of these things are misunderstood by others, but it's just like that's most sacred for me.
Yeah, sometimes they're not seen though because other people don't know that connection.
Yeah.
Well, they can't see the connection and they're not like
Aware
so
of
yeah.
everything.
Yeah, because there's things that people say to me, and these are people that are like really close to me and mean the world to me, and they'll say something to me that's like very deep and profound and very serious, and I can't always get that connection because I wasn't there, or I can't connect the understanding. I can give you sympathy and I can give you compassion and empathy, but I can't connect with that because I didn't see it. I don't have that connection. I'm unable to do that. So I do understand that.
Yeah. I think I want to echo what Tjibaria said too. Like that, yeah, it's so true. Yeah. This is me echoing. There we go. Cool.
The command man.
There we go. What Tjibaria said, yeah, because she says it a lot, especially on these events that we run, that obviously as a team and as a family, as friendships, all of us here, it is a family and we are really close. And that's not just a nice thing that she says, it's true. It's not just, hey, our team is a family, woo! No, it actually is, and we have those bonds and those deep talks. So yeah, what Tjibaria said, and also what came to mind straight away when you asked that question, so I'll touch on this, is how do I say this? The hustle and the mental hustle that comes with doing everything that we do. I think it's often overlooked, especially by people, and I was guilty of this too, maybe people that are looking out to watching us or watching other successful people that are doing the work and hustling, and they love that, but they don't want to do what's involved to get to that stage. And learning to love the hustle in the good times and the bad and the rocky times. I don't want to say bad times.
I actually
Good
really
times
miss it.
Yeah, the good times are great. The hustle, you feel good. You're like, yeah, look at me. But learning to really love the rocky times too. And when it's tough mentally, being like, okay, cool. This means I'm playing the game. This means I'm doing it and getting excited about that. I think that's something that is definitely a skill you acquire by doing the things. There's no other way to acquire that mental skill without doing it. But I think that for me is still something I have to remind myself of when it gets tough sometimes. Like, hey, this is part of it. You know, they're playing the game. This is the game you wanted to play it. But yeah, realizing that will take you so far, and really learning to love the hustle and love the rocky times and building your mental fortitude. So.
Yeah, I
And I think
totally
also,
agree with that.
sorry.
Go ahead.
Like what you said was also very sweet. Like you missing it, but you're in the middle of it right now with this new venture, which is exactly the same thing or exactly the same procedure. And by the way, guys, if you have not yet grabbed any of Misty's books, be part of any of Misty's upcoming courses, you will want to do that because Misty's incredible. She's going to help you. She's going to change your life. So Misty, get in touch with her, follow her. Like, she's absolutely amazing. So just want to say that very quickly as well. Very, very much deserved.
Thank you so much for that. Both of you ladies have a powerful relationship with movement. Have there been times where building strength in your body mirrored a breakthrough in your mind or your heart?
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like, I mean, I don't know what's going on with me today. I'm just like, in constant state of shock. I think this is me missing you, Misty. I've just missed you so much.
Oh, that was so
Okay, you
funny.
guys have had these questions for like months now.
Yeah,
You go first, Josie.
definitely. Yeah, I could actually speak about this for a while. I spoke about this with you, Misty, on the last podcast about when I did the half marathon. And that taught me so much about business and life, which is crazy, right? It was about 4 months, 15 to 16 weeks that I was training for this half marathon that happened in March. And through that training period of those 4 months, I learned so much about myself, so much about life, and so much about business, which was something I never expected going into that. I was just expecting to run a little bit faster at the end of it. But what it taught me is actually the power of showing up when you don't feel like it. And you don't always see it in the short term, but in the long term, you see it. For example, I was, 16 weeks. There was about 2 to 3 runs a week I was doing because I was also dancing. So however many runs that is, probably about 2% of those I actually wanted to go on and was actually excited to do. Because you can ask Seb, I don't run. I didn't run.
Yeah.
But I did it anyway because I knew I had that half marathon to do. And if I didn't run now, then there was no way I was doing a half marathon. So I forced myself to go on it. And by the end, what I really realized is I didn't see the results after going on that run. The run I didn't want to go on, I did anyway. I didn't see immediate results in fitness or in any of this. But by the end of the 16 weeks, it all accumulated and I could run so much faster for so much longer if I compared the two. And that's when I realized, those little things, those consistent actions that you do, you're not always going to see action back straight away. But in the long run, boy, does it add up. So that really taught me a lot. And what happened recently, kind of since the half marathon, I've been injured with a couple different things, but right now I can barely do anything really because the kneecap is out of place. I can walk, I can somewhat dance, not much else. And what it's taught me is to actually really value when you can do things. And when this heals, touch wood, I will never take for granted being able to move and being able to train and go through those hard days. And I think that translates into business too. Sometimes you don't want to show up, but maybe there's a time where you can't show up because there is something else going on that you need to focus on. You're going to wish that your biggest problem was showing up that day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 2 lessons definitely that physical activity, physical movement has taught me about mental movement, business.
Thank you
I
for
really
sharing that.
resonate.
I hope you get better soon.
Thank
I was
you.
gonna say, I don't know how old that video was you posted the other day, that reel where you were
Old.
dancing. Like, I was like, and you're doing that on an injured knee with a kneecap out? Holy crap.
That was old. No, that was old.
That's like Wonder
Now
Woman
that I
right there,
can't,
Superwoman.
now that I can't dance anymore, I'm just posting all the drafts that I never posted.
I think it's awesome.
But thank you.
So what about you, Tjibaria?
Yeah, it's very much the same as what Josie said. And then one added point, was how much further you can go, actually. Did you realize and I don't know if you have that too, Misty, or you have that too, Josie. When I run, I also I play this really weird mental game with myself. It's like, oh, let's do 1 extra minute, or let's go 1 extra. Like let's go and make the calories until this point. And then once these are, he's like, okay, let's do like
Yeah.
two extra hundreds of a I don't know, a distance unit. And then every single time, like you hit those middle milestones, like okay, I can actually do more. And you realize that you can do more than you think you can, and we all can do more, which is also directly correlated to business as well, or anything in life. We can do so much more than what we typically do. And sometimes it takes exercise to realize that, and to think like, oh, wait a second. Like, for instance, for me, when it was with push-ups, I've been wanting to do push-ups since I was a little girl, and I was never able to do it. And then recently, this year, I actually was able to do 10 of them, like sets of 10, and that makes me super proud. Like, for some people, it might be like, oh, only 10, but for me, it was really big. And that also would have not happened unless I just like doing the 2, then doing the 3, then doing the 4, and consistently doing that. So yeah, the gains really come from repetition. And
Wow.
and that's not always easy to do because you don't get instant results. And that's why for so many of us, and me included, it's sometimes difficult to just go through that because there is going to be a period where results seemingly do not come in, but they actually do. They're working in the background. Whether that's business, like all those calls you make where people don't pick up, they say no. It all contributes to that statistics that is building up, and yes, it's going to come. But you have to go through it, and then you deserve it. Otherwise, yeah, you haven't built up that character to be able to get to it. So that's a lot of correlation between movement and mind success.
Yeah. You know, a lot of times they work together. They like, not a lot of times, they all work together because without your mind, your body doesn't work. But it's weird how it works that way because I do that too. I'm not always big on movement. It's like I like to be active, but I don't always do it like I want to. But I do that where I've done this much, you know what? It's gonna be nothing. It'll be really quick. I'll just go ahead and keep going or do this, extra. And then you're like,
Yeah.
oh, well, like you said, oh, I can keep going. So I do the same
Yeah,
thing.
exactly. That's
Even like Olympic athletes, they say it's 80% up here. That's what
Yeah.
they say as well.
You're like, they say that. I'm still working on it, but they say.
that's what they say. I don't know.
Okay, so this question is kind of directed toward Tjibaria, but I'm also interested in your take on this, Josie, because I know that both of you have a strong support system. So, Tjibaria, both of you, if you've spoken about the impact on growing up with strong support, right? How has it influenced how you show up for others and for yourself? Sorry, I had to formulate it in my head because I have it there, but it's like, how do I get that out?
Yeah, I think it has shaped it completely, pretty much, because I have had and still have and will forever have the perfect example, in my opinion, from how a family is supposed to be run. Really, really loving parents that are not just parents, but are our best friends. And seeing that on a day-to-day basis and the way how they nurture us in all different areas of life. So our minds are like that we work on ourselves, that we are accountable, that we believe in ourselves no matter what people say. Like actually really entrepreneurial traits that defined everything, because that's why nowadays and pretty much for all of my life, I don't take no for an answer. Let's go and do it. There's nothing we cannot do. But also
It's like, I don't know anything else. Just bring it on.
Come on, let's go. but also I think the example of looking after one another, I think is something that I really have seen by example by my parents really, really much. And that then also becomes an honor to be able to also do that. And I'm really grateful for all of that because it shaped my entire life. So yeah, all credit to my parents. Yeah.
What about you, Josie?
Question.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think for me, I grew up always watching my mum. She was an entrepreneur. She wasn't always an entrepreneur, but always I've known her to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I think that probably is the reason I even wanted to do this too. I don't know if I hadn't grown up seeing her in that space and doing that and being such a rock star in it as well, and making it work. Even when times were tough, she pulls through, she makes it work.
Yeah.
I don't know if I even would have that drive of, or even know any different to actually this is the way life happens. You go to school, you go to university, you get a job, you do this. That's what I thought I was going to do up until I started realizing, oh, hey, no, my mum does something different. What does she do? So I think that was huge. And also in the fact that she's always, and my dad too, they've always tried to give me the best life possible. And they didn't have, neither of them had easy upbringings. They actually both had pretty difficult upbringings, and they did everything in their power to make sure that I didn't go through the same thing. So growing up with that and realizing that has made me really want to make my plans work so I can give back to them as soon as possible. And that's always been a
She
big
already
drive.
is, by the way, just letting you guys know.
Thank you.
Hello, little birdie.
Thanks. Made me blush. But yeah, so I think that was super powerful in shaping why I'm even here. Yeah, big credit. Which actually, one of them just came home. Speak of the devils.
Nice.
Awesome. Thank you, ladies. I think even though I was sitting here thinking that each of our family lives look different. They're
Yeah.
very different. But we still have that support system, even though it
Yeah.
looks different. And so for me, I think that looking back, my mother and my sister were always the biggest support system or foundation that I've ever known. And although they never did anything like I'm doing now, I'm kind of like the black sheep of the family almost. But
Yeah.
it's like, it's, I think having them and being able to go and talk to, well, now my sister, whenever anything comes up and being able to talk to her and say, this is what's going on. She's okay. So now what? And then she'll make me think about things so I have to work things out on my own.
Yeah.
Or she'll be like, if she knows that I'm thinking a certain way, she stops me. No, it's got to be this way. You got to do this.
Yeah.
Or she'll, so she's always been, because my sister has always been somebody that I've always really looked up to. She's like a second mother to me. And I don't know if either one of you guys know this song, Wind Beneath My Wings by Beth Midler.
Don't know, maybe not from the title.
It's from the movie Beaches that she was in years ago. I know I'm dating myself, but it's years ago.
Yeah.
I dedicated that song to my sister when I turned 15. I can't sing it because I don't remember all the words to it, but it's basically, my sister's the wind beneath my wings. Without her knowing it, she's been guiding me and helping lift me up and giving me the strength to be like, okay, this is what we've been given, but learn from our lessons and soar, Just don't settle. Soar for that. And although she's never really taken the step out to really follow her dreams, she's allowed herself to be confined. But that's what she wants, and that's where she's happy, and that's where she's... So it's me learning from her and my mother that everybody's life is different.
Yeah.
The foundation and that strength and that support is very important, and we can be that for anybody, because growing up, my mother didn't just have her 3 kids. She would unofficially adopt every kid in the neighborhood. So everybody came over, they all called her mom, and she was loving and accepting of everybody. So I've learned to be able to understand that you don't have to be family to be supportive and to be there for somebody.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So nice.
I think it's just really
And
changed.
I think that also is reflected in your character, because you are very caring. and you look after.
Boy, do I have you fooled. No, I'm just kidding.
What did you say?
I said, boy, do I have you fooled. No, I'm just kidding.
No, but you are, and yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
thank you.
it's a really beautiful thing. I think also in what you are shaping with your community and all that you're putting out there is another display of the words that you just spoke. Like, you don't have to be family, but there's someone there for you, and that's why it's just, I'm so excited for everybody joining Missy's community, being part of her programs, and it's a really cool thing. You've got a good coach here, guys. Seize the
what I'm trying
opportunity.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to do with the podcast. Life is a journey. It's a trip. We don't always get handed a map, so let's figure out the way together. So that's what the podcast is for. But I also bring that into my books. And my books are not just one genre. They're different genres because there's different people that are like me that learn differently. And they don't always stick to one thing, or one thing may connect to one person, but it's not going to connect to another. And we all deserve to have that support and that knowing, and I can reach out and somebody's there. Or, you know what, I'm not on this path alone. I'm not the only one going through this. There's other people that are going through it, or other people that have gone through it, and they can help me out. I don't know that song, If You're Going Through Hell. So there's a part in it that says, if you're going through hell, keep on going.
Yeah.
You can get through it before the devil even knows you're there.
Yeah.
So it's like, I always say, hey, if you're going through hell, look me up. I'll give you a tour. We'll get out of there before he knows. It's like, you're not alone in anything. Learn from people who have already been through that. So the podcasts, the books, they're intertwined. And then I'm bringing in that course. It's all going to fit together. I've got a vision in my head. And I talk to ChatGPT. I'm sorry. I like it. But ChatGPT always tells me, Misty, you're not just creating a business. You are creating a movement. And I never thought of it that way. But it's, if I step back and look at what I'm doing, that's what it is. Because what the world needs right now, from now and forever, well, from the beginning of time and forever, is we need support, and we need love and compassion and empathy and understanding. You don't have to like somebody to understand them and give them empathy. You don't have to love somebody to say, you know what, I understand what you're going through. I'm here if you need me. Yeah. To be somebody's support. But you don't have to be like, because I'm going to be honest with you, there's people I do not get along with. It's not that I did not try. It's just our personalities are so different that at that moment in time, we can't connect.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean I'm not going to be there for them.
Yeah.
Because the world, Tjibaria, and you've said it before, the world is going such in the opposite direction that what we need is everybody to be on the same page and going for the same thing. Because that's what everybody wants, but they're too separate, and they're doing it on their own, thinking they're the only ones, or they're the only ones that care, and they're not. So giving somebody that community, and I keep telling you, FLC, guys, if you don't know about Freedom Lifestyle Creators, FLC, it is not just a program that teaches you business. It is a lifestyle. It is a change in who you are as a human being, because it doesn't just free you financially. It frees you from the confinements of the conditioning you were put into. It is a community and a worldwide family that is there for you to give you support. If you think what I am doing is huge, what they are doing, these two ladies are doing together, is astronomical.
No, equal. It's all equal.
But the what is that? The satellite that's the furthest out there, the number one that's all the way out there. This is so much bigger. FLC and what I'm doing and everything is so much bigger than that we go way beyond. So if you guys are not following FLC, the Freedom Lifestyle Creators, I will link in the description below where you can find everything, all the information on that. They also hold events called, they've one event I think coming up pretty soon. It's called the Project 1 Million in 1 Year. If you have not been on that or have not heard of it, get on it, find out information. I'll have the link down below so you guys can get onto that. And trust me, it's not just going to change your financial situation. You have to be open to change, open to hard work. It's not a get rich quick, but it is a life-changing event. It has changed. Tjibaria has changed my life from the moment I heard her name. Didn't even know the woman. All I knew is that this young girl was getting on the stage, and all I heard was Tjibaria, and I was stuck. It's like, okay. And then I had to, that's, I think I'm not positive, but I think that's the first time you did offering the Freedom Lifestyle, the Freedom Lifestyle, what was it? The Freedom Lifestyle Creators, but it was the first package, no, the Launch Your Business in 5 Days on stage. Or on that live event.
Because
I'm not sure.
It was in 2020? Was that it?
It was in 2020 or 2021 is when I joined. It was a while ago.
It was a while ago, yeah. I don't know if
Yeah.
it was the first time. I think the first time was before that still. Yeah, I think the first time was 2019, but it came into a new form in 2020. So if you were that on the 2021, then that was the first time when we had it in a new form. That was far better than whatever it was before. So that could have been like the first launch, of the new format.
Yeah, that had to be
it. FLC 2.0 at some point. It was like, and at some point I was like, oh, let's grab the 2.0 FLC. But thank you so much for sharing that. And I think, again, very important to say, if anyone really wants to transform their life, sign up with Misty. Like, really go on this journey with her, because you have helped so many people and you care for people so deeply that you're gonna change your life if you're in her circle. So I really highly recommend people, like, forget about our stuff. Don't even put the link. Just follow Misty. Go with Misty's books and her courses and her community. Yeah, you'll be good. You'll be good. Don't even think about it.
What I'm gonna do is I will put the link for all of it down below for your guys' program and mine. You guys can pre-order my course if you'd like to.
Yes.
And also pre-order or order one of my books. They are available.
And can I just say, I've just had the pleasure of looking at one of Misty's books. It is amazing. Like, I am just flabbergasted. I just seen it just before this podcast. So I don't know if that's the book that you're talking about. If that's the book, guys, get it. Like, no matter what. It's super awesome.
Yeah, I've got several books, but that's one of them, yes. That's the biggest one, yeah.
You guys are in for a treat.
Yeah. So with that being said, guys, ladies, do you have anything else that you think other people should know before we start going or wrapping up or anything?
Yeah. Watch this space. Misty's gonna release some really cool things. So watch this space, follow the podcast, follow Misty on all possible channels, get into her community. You're gonna thank yourself later. So wait.
Yes. So with that being said, guys, thank you guys so much for being here. Remember, life's a trip. You don't need the map. You just need to be able to embrace who you are. If you don't know who you are or have lost that, that's why we're here. We're here to find out who we are again and move into that, becoming who we've always wanted to be. Which, FYI, you've always been that person. It's just realizing it and letting it out. So, until next time, toss the map, trust your intuition, and I'll see you next time.
Bye!
Well, that's a wrap for today's episode of Life's a Trip. If you're figuring it out as you go, same here. Hit follow, leave a review if you're feeling generous. And remember, you don't need the whole map. You just need the next step.